So last time you guys tuned in for the introduction to my life as a trucker. So I did this to pay off student loans. You know, I just wasn't making enough money working two jobs, so I decided it's time to move on from this debt. So I moved from Lubbock. That's where I was living before. From Lubbock, I was just working, whatever. So moved from there to Dallas, where the trucking school was. Stevens Transport is what it's called. So they have a 13-week program that just goes through 3 weeks of class, pretty much class, learning how to just shift the truck, drive the truck, maneuver the truck. And then at the end of your 3 weeks, you have to have passed all of your 5 written tests through the DPS and your driving test. Driving test is the last thing you do before they release you to go with the trainer for 5 weeks over the road. So I did all that. I did the 3 weeks. It was tough. The 5 written tests were just ridiculous. 3 or 4 of them were just piece of cake, simple. You just studied and passed the test. And then there was one test that was just ridiculous. It was 50 questions, and there's so many gray lines in the test that there could have been 3 right answers, and they wanted you to choose the best one. So it kind of made me mad. Anyway, so I passed all those tests. Came to the driving portion of the tests through the DPS, and it was so nerve-wracking. I was so nervous because you make one simple mistake and you fail the test, and you have to retake it. You know, whatever. You can only retake it twice, and then you have to repay for the whole thing. And so super nervous. I got in the truck. You had to do an air brake test first, which took 10 minutes. You had to memorize a whole slew of different things you had to remember to pass the brake test. And then, so I was nervous for that, because if you miss one thing on the air brake test, then you fail, and you can't even start the driving portion. So I passed the air brake test. I was, super relieved. And then got even more nervous for the driving portion. Got in the truck for the driving portion, and my hands started sweating. My hands were shaking. I was super nervous. We were told that the instructor that we got for the DPS driving portion was the hardest instructor there, and there's 10 different instructors. So that made me even more nervous. So got in the truck, and the guy told me, he's like, we're not going to talk during this portion. I'm just going to test you. Don't ask any questions unless it has to pertain to the driving, I guess. And so that made me even more nervous. He wasn't really laid back. He was super stern. And so anyway, so I got through the test, and at the very end of the test, they tell you in school that if you pass the white line at a stop sign that's on the road, if you pass it, even if the stop sign's in front of it, if you pass the white line, you'll fail. And so it's at the very end of the test, right before you get on the highway to finish out the test. You'd already done your parallel parking and all your turning and all that stuff. And so anyways, and I totally just mess up, and I pass the white line. And then I am inside my head, I'm like, oh my God, I failed the test. I've got to retake it. I'm going to be held back another week for just nothing, for just passing a stupid white line. I was still in front of the stop sign, but I passed it. So anyways, so I'm freaking out in my head. I'm like, oh crap, I failed the test. And he's not going to tell you fail until you're finished driving. He doesn't tell you anything. And so you just have to do everything on your own. So anyways, so I passed the white line. I'm freaking out. We finished the test. I go to the highway, blah, blah, blah. And we get through, and he's like, well, you did really good. Only thing you need, I took a few points off with your parallel parking, blah, blah, blah. And inside, I'm like, yes, I passed. I'm done with this. So anyway, so I pass it, and it's on to training. over the road for 5 weeks with a trainer. And that will be on the next blog, I guess blog 3. So tune in for 5 weeks over the road with a trainer.